All right, y'all, what is going on? Back with another video. I'm at work trying to get this money. You know how it is, but gotta talk about this really quick because this is really important. Xbox has been doing a lot of good things. Well, we're hearing that they're doing a lot of good things. Ashley Shamara, I did a short about it the other day about her saying that Game Pass is too expensive. Now we're starting to hear that Xbox may go back to exclusivity. They're reconsidering it. And I made a video about this weeks ago where basically I was saying, look, Xbox need to get back to that premise of their brand because it's hurting their brand. This is an Xbox thing, which by the way, they got rid of that too. This is an Xbox games on PC, all this other stuff. It was hurting the brand, especially with the the day one situation. And this is the thing. I knew this was going to be coming up at some point because if you want to protect your brand, you got to have something on your brand that you can't get nowhere else. And for Xbox, the way they're set up right now, Xbox is going to have at least, I'll say it again, at least 3 exclusives to bring people back to really get into the fold of what Xbox is. They can't just say, hey, look, E-Day is going to be exclusive to Project Helix, or E-Day is going to be exclusive only to the Xbox Series. Or no, it's going to have to be 3 games. And there's already talks about Forza Horizon 6 may even being reconsidered as an exclusive to the Xbox brand, with it maybe coming out at a later date. Now, I'll put the links down in the description so you can see some of those places that are saying this, because I'm not just saying it just to say it, but I said this weeks ago. Xbox needs to get back to their brand to the point where, hey, look, Xbox is a place where you can play such and such games. You know, even with Nintendo. Nintendo does it with their things where you're not going to be playing any Mario or Zelda or Donkey Kong, any of that stuff anywhere else. They want you to play it on their platform. Sony has been doing that for years. They dipped their toe into the PC realm, and now they're starting to walk back on some of their single-player titles. So Xbox, look, you've been in last place like forever. They've been in last place like forever, and it's a great place to play video games. It's always been that way ever since the original Xbox. But it's like, yo, if it's a great place to play games, why are you diluting your brand? Why are you diluting what you can do when it comes to playing games on your platform, where I could just use my PC, get on the Microsoft store, and I'm good. I got rid of my Xbox Series because of stuff like that. Because of, look, I got a PC. What am I doing here? And I like my Xbox Series a lot. I did. But there's no reason for me to have it when I can play the same games on PC. Now, this is another thing. When it comes to the Xbox brand in general, they're trying to revamp. They're trying to revitalize. They're trying to make over what they had back in, the 360 or early parts of the Xbox One days, where you did have your exclusives. Yeah, they were a little bit lacking behind the PS4 or whatever, but you did have your exclusive. You were pretty much the place to go to play games in the 7th generation when the PS3 was around and you had a Nintendo Wii. The Xbox 360 was that console at one point. A lot of people love to play on that console, but they lost their way. And the only way you're going to get that back is you're going to have to start finding places where these games are going to be the only place to play these games. You're going to have to say, hey, look, Project Helix is coming out, or whatever the case may be. You could play this game on Project Helix. You cannot be able to play this on your PC. Yes, the Project Helix is going to be a hybrid. Yeah, you're going to have Steam on it, but this particular game is not going to be on Steam. This particular game is not going to be on the Microsoft Store. It's going to have to be something like that. If you want to start selling, selling hardware again, because there's really no reason. And I have my reasons. I say, look, there is a reason for me personally to get an Xbox One or Xbox Series. There's 3 games that are out there for me that basically I can't play nowhere else. I love racing games, so I play Forza 5. I love playing Forza 6. And I have not played Halo 5. I want to at least play that, right? But I can't play that on PC. They put them on PC, then that's a different story. But the way things looking, those 3 games that I know, and I know there are probably a few other ones, but I know for certain those 3 games are locked to that console. So maybe I need to go get a $50 Xbox One. Trust me, they're dirt cheap. I saw one on eBay right now. I saw one on eBay, a VCR, the old Xbox One. It was like for $25. They said it worked, everything was fine. People were bidding on it, and the only problem was it didn't play disc. But hey, I got Forza 5, 6, and I can get Halo 5 digital and play it on there. I don't necessarily, but that's if I wanted to get it. But you get what I'm getting at. These consoles are cheap. So this is a way that, I want to go if I want to play those games. But when you look at the total picture, Xbox needs to go back to that. Because look, I have to get an Xbox to play those 3 games. If you want to get certain games to be only on your platform, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get people to buy that hardware. So I look at it like this. At the end of the day, I feel like Xbox, Asher Shamar, the new CEO, is saying all of the right things. Now, this stuff is going to be implemented, I don't know. You look at the Game Pass situation, that this is an Xbox situation. Now we're talking about going back to exclusivity. June 7th, 2026 is going to be very interesting when it comes to Xbox. It's going to be very, very interesting because now we're going to be looking at something like, okay, what is this showcase going to be about? We already heard those rumors that I just mentioned. We already heard about backwards compatibility. That could be a thing again, where they're going to start revamping that for, I think it's going to be later on this year, but they're probably going to talk about it in the showcase. So you're talking about Xbox is trying to get some form of relevance again, where their hardware could be worth something and their games could be worth something. And you're going to have a really good set of options when it comes to Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC. You're going to have the options, but we just gotta see what Xbox does. Because at the end of the day, if they was to go that route and have everything back together, the backwards compatibility, the exclusivity, they want to lower Game Pass prices, I may reconsider definitely not just getting the old VCR back to play the 3 games I mentioned earlier. I may even get it back just to, I may even get a series back just to go back and play the games that will be necessarily on that platform. But we just don't know how that's going to play out. But that's what I'm saying. But that's the type of stuff you need for gamers to gravitate to your platform. It's the reason why people still buy PlayStations. PlayStation was always that console that constantly sold. PS1s. You only got certain games on there. Do I need to even talk about the PlayStation 2? Do I need to talk about that and those exclusives? You talk about the PS3. PS3 was doing their thing as well, and they did all right for themselves for the most part. PS4 basically went back to the basics of the PlayStation 2. The PS4 reminds me so much of the PS2, it's not even funny. And that's another thing. I need to talk about that at some point. Collecting for the PS4 might be the thing to do, like, seriously. But yeah, but when you look at everything that they've done, even up to the PS5, Xbox been missing out. Xbox was doing really good for themselves when it came to the original Xbox. Even though they saw their loss, they have some great exclusives on that console that you can't really play anywhere else. And then if you could through the backwards compatibility, program, it's all good. But it was original Xbox games. Xbox 360, do I need to talk about that console? Even with the Red Ring of Death, they still done phenomenal. Even when the games that weren't exclusive, they played better on the PS3 in some cases. And, the Xbox One, they tried. I remember the last, really exclusive I was playing over there was, Rise, Son of Rome. And you don't know something? Even Rise, Son of Rome, I played that on PC. So it just goes to show you, they just basically fell off the map at the Xbox One. But can they get back? Maybe. I don't know, but we'll see. At the end of the day, you guys let me know what you think. I'm going to get up out of here. They should be done with my truck. And I may be going live tonight. So if I go live, y'all could catch me on there. And we could chop it up some more and talk some stuff and play some games or whatever and just chill out. But with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. I'm out. Peace.